Almost 3 hours have gone by since the gun start, and the end is fast approaching. Unlike in a short distance race where speed is your biggest weapon, here at Ironman, pacing is the thin line that separates losing from winning. It's energy preservation more than just precision. The veterans have started to make their move, while the young buck has slowly faded away. Rudy Wild was one of those veteran triathletes who emerged in the front group. A two-time Olympian from Switzerland, Wild is a first-timer here in the Philippines.
I'm very surprised to meet such a strong field here on this time of the year already. I've been to Asia a couple of times. I'm quite experienced in racing in Thailand or also Vietnam, but never been in the Philippines before. Of course, I did some research and I've seen some pictures which looked amazing, and it proved to be exactly how it was on the pictures. And also I heard a lot of the events here, that they're well organized, nice hospitality, we're very well looked after here with all the details as you can wish, how you can wish for as an athlete, as a pro athlete.
I have to say personally, I was surprised to see how many professionals came to our race. And to be honest with you, except for the World Championships, it's very rare that you have that high a turnout. The first thing they say is, we've heard about the reputation of the races here in the Philippines, the reputation of Sunrise events, of course the reputation of the Philippines. I think a big part of that is our hospitality. So yes, they're coming here to race, they're coming here to win, but they're also coming here for the experience. In the life of a pro triathlete, winning is important, but they also want to have these experiences.
Unlike the other triathletes in the field, Wild isn't racing full-time. He flew here in Asia just for 2 races alongside his compatriot and friend Sven Reiderer, leaving his corporate job for Wild.
I started as a junior and then doing the ITU short distance things until the Olympics 2012, and then I moved over to long and medium distance triathlon. But same time back home, I'm also working part-time in the office. I work for a sports food company. I practice on the products every day and get experience as an athlete, so I also try to bring in some new ideas in order to develop new products. And then of course also try to bring that knowledge to our partners abroad and give them the right advice from an athlete's perspective, which is very important. I grew up close to the place where the factory, the company is based. And during my studies in Zurich in Switzerland, I studied economics and I did some master degree, and in my final, when I had to write this master work, my topic was how to expand sports food industry within Europe and the world, and I took sponsor company as an example. And after I finished my studies, actually I did what I did in theory, which means try to bring it into practice, the whole thing, yeah.
Maybe it's the Swiss precision and connection as Reiderer and Wild managed to get into the top 2 at the run turnaround, followed by Tim Reed, Crowe Alexander, and Kevin Collington, with the top 3 only separated by a few seconds. In the women's side, Radka has begun to create a good distance from Caroline. Trailing them were Dimity, Kate, and Sarah Lester. Lester wasn't as lucky as Wild. She had to give up her job to race full-time.
I was always a runner growing up, and I was still a runner when I was doing investment banking, and then a friend of mine started triathlon, so I did a couple of triathlons every year but just off of running, and I was given the choice that I couldn't do both investment banking and elite level triathlon, so I thought you're only young once, and so I took a sabbatical from my job and pursued triathlon full-time. I've got my degree. I did 4 years of investment banking and I will go back to it one day, but this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And to come to places like this and have opportunities like this, I wasn't going to say no.
Sarah was right. Nothing lasts forever. There will come a time when the spirit will be willing, but the body won't cooperate. You have to enjoy it while it lasts. But each race gives a different experience, carry different lessons, and those different perspectives will make you an Ironman in the bigger race outside the course. Back at the men's side, Wild's corporate background came into play in this Sunday's race. With a master's degree in economics, he has also mastered the art of managing his stamina and racing smart as he took the lead in the last 6 kilometers, moving past former champions Crowe Alexander and Tim Reed.
This is going to be a wild finish. Ladies and gentlemen, from Switzerland, number 18, Rudy Wild, our Century Tuna Ironman.
Wild was jubilant. It was a victory that felt like a world championship given the quality of competition.
I think it makes the win even more worth. And actually, I wasn't expecting such a deep field when I signed up for this race. I thought it's a good way to start the season. So now I'm really happy to be able to come away with a win in such a strong field. And I think it's not only about winning, it's also about who you can win against. And I'm very happy.
At 43, Crowe can always have a ready excuse to finish outside the top 3, but he chose not. He was just a minute away from going back to back.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man we call Crowe, Craig Alexander.
After 2 decades, he's still here flaunting that iron will, finishing a hell of a race faster than the other guys here with the younger legs. He may have failed to defend the crown, but there will always be next year, and he hopes to be back.
You know, there's a lot of good guys in there. A couple of guys who have won world championships and Olympic medals, and I think everyone was respecting everyone's ability. So, just being a little cautious. Will you be back next year? I hope so. I'm getting old, so it's not getting easy. But it's a good race. I really enjoy it. It's a very hard race, and it seems to suit me well. I'd like to come back.
Tim Reed from Australia. Sven Ryder from Switzerland.
Radka finally did the unthinkable, topple multiple champion Caroline. It was her first major victory on Philippine soil.
Radka Moldova Kellerfeld, our female pro champion in the Century Tuna.
I was just lucky I had really good preparation this year. Beginning of the season I had really good training and I felt strong, and it's always better to be first than second, so I was highly motivated to try to beat such a champion like Caroline is. It was not an easy race, but I feel great now.
Radka just had the amazing race, and she's a very honest, fair competitor, and I think she came second, I don't know how many times behind me, so she deserved the win today.
The Duke came in 3rd just like last year. Kate finished at 4th, higher than Guy's ranking, but her fiancé clocked better to win their side bet.
It was a great place to be and come and race, yeah.
I had a little bit of a rough day myself, but the overall race experience, amazing. I think she's going to owe me a bottle of wine.
August Benedicto successfully defended his Asian Elite crown, finishing at 18th spot, way below than his impressive finish last year. But it was still a solid showing given how stacked the lineup was. While the podium finishers were already celebrating with their well-deserved victories, there were hundreds more still out there. To them, it's no longer a race against the other guys on the road. At this point, it's all about reaching the end of the race and the right to be called Ironman. The emotions at the finish line were unfiltered. There were those who let out a scream. There were tears of joy. Others were speechless, gasping for air, drenched in sweat, still trying to comprehend what they have just achieved. They have just completed 70.3 miles under the sweltering heat of summer. Jake Montgomery, who faded in the last stretch, finished just 1 minute outside the top 10. But the ranking did not matter to him at this point. 7 months ago, he couldn't even stand up on his feet. But there he was, standing at the finish line on the other side of the globe. A clear manifestation that he is back on his feet and doing the thing he loves most that was almost taken away from him.
It's just about the human will of perseverance. I think it's a testament about tenacity. So we should all take a lesson from that in life you will fall down. And the question is, how will you get up and how many times will you get up again?
Unfortunately, some were not able to finish the race, either because of tough luck or lack of stamina. But they just have to look at Jake, Sarah, Radka, Rudy, Crowe, August, and the other finishers and search in their hearts the iron will to carry on to the next race.
After 8.5 hours in the race course, doubts have been washed out. What ifs have been erased. New champions have been crowned. And yes, dreams were achieved. Because right here in the Century Tuna IRONMAN 70.3 Subic Bay, Pilipinas, anything is possible. This is Chick Reyes, your race announcer, saying goodbye, and we'll see you all in the next Century Tuna 70.3 Pilipinas.